Thank you for joining us at 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. Keep in mind that it's the pessimist who sees the difficulty in an opportunity, but it's really those of us who are optimists who see an opportunity in anything that is difficult. So keep that in mind today as you go along and make today a blessing. May the stars be with you. I say that for a special reason, folks. You will find out in a moment why, and I think the stars are lining up for a great event happening here in New Bedford called TEDx, TEDxNew Bedford. It's coming to our community on November the 6th at the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center, and here are, well, there is one person I absolutely love, and I'm falling in love with the second person, so there. We have Dr. Michael Rocha in studio, who I consider the wellness guru of the South Coast, who has done so much to change the lives of so many people and take a look at our own health and what we can do to be our best advocates. Dr. Michael Rocha, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Phil. Thanks for having me on. Very excited to be here today.
Great to see you. You look marvelous.
You too.
My friend. And why don't you introduce our very special Dolores, our special guest?
Well, Dolores, I got to know Dolores over the last couple of months, and Dolores has been the organizer for this wonderful event for the city called TEDxNew Bedford. And it's actually more than just one event. It's actually really something that's been going on for the last several months. And I was fortunate to find out and participate in several of their TEDx talks recently that were at Cork that really were coming up with some really interesting things to talk about. One of them focused in on the concept of happiness, and another one focused in on sustainability. So TEDxNew Bedford is really trying to talk about, again, what things really matter to our communities, and not only our community, but what things are important to the rest of the world, and bringing up those kind of topics. So she's been able to bring TEDx to New Bedford, which I think is really a wonderful thing, and it's been great to get to know her. And she's done some tremendous work to make this happen, bringing in some wonderful speakers really from across the country that are going to share November 6th with us on stage, but really have been working together over the last couple of months to make this a very wonderful event for the city.
Dolores Hirschmann, welcome. Good morning. What a nice introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, and good morning, Phil.
Good morning.
I'm very excited to be here this morning. And yes, as you were saying, Michael, this event is really the November 6th event is the end of a conversation we've been having since last May. And this smaller events were more really open conversations. And I think the fascinating thing I found out through those events is that people are eager to listen to each other and just open up to new ideas, new perspectives. There wasn't a conversation of who's wrong, who's right. Is that what else can we explore?
So TEDx is about connecting people to have open conversations?
Well, let me just tell a little bit of a background here. So TEDx is an independent license from TED organization, which is a New York-based organization, and they host these large events around the world. Their mission is ideas worth spreading. So it's all about putting on the stage new ideas, new perspectives. You were talking about, the optimists are those that see opportunity in a challenge. So new ideas are new ways of seeing a new issue. It could be brand new. It could be something we've been dealing with for the last 100 years.
Sure.
It's just a new way of seeing something and going about something. So that's what TED is about. And we organizers are able to access this format through what is called an independent license. And that's what I have secured for our community. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're doing. We're spreading ideas worth
And
sharing.
the idea will include wellness.
The idea, oh boy. So the theme of our event, and we organizers can choose the overall arching theme, and what we've chosen is Unbound. And you know how you said stars align? So we chose the theme Unbound, and then someone in our team said, did you realize that NB is in the middle of Unbound? So we are unbounding New Bedford and the South Coast. That's our intention. We are triggering conversations that bring us beyond what we've done before, beyond what we believe it's possible, and explore, what's on the other side of fear, really.
Sure, absolutely. And this is happening on
November 6th.
November 6th at the Zeiterion, folks. And Dolores and her team have really amassed some of the most interesting speakers, one of whom is sitting in the studio right now.
Yeah, I happen to know him.
And Dr. Michael Rocha joining us. What are you going to be discussing?
What I'm going to be discussing is kind of a journey, Phil. That actually, we've participated in that journey. You're part of that journey right now in terms of trying to, look at the challenges that we faced in New Bedford, and also talking a little bit about my own challenges that I had to look within at some point to be able to figure out how I needed to have a different relationship to myself. And by learning to do that, how does that apply to the patients that I take care of? And also, how can you look at that at a bigger, broader perspective? And going back to my days playing basketball and using sports to try to look at my role differently, as maybe instead of a doctor, as more of a coach. And that's really one of the things that I've kind of come to think about in terms of the way I've been trying to approach wellness and well-being.
How many speakers will there be?
So we have 14 confirmed speakers, and we have 2 surprises that might be revealed later this week.
I like surprises. And the price of admission?
So we are running an early bird right now through October 29th, and it's $22.50 for an all-day event. So I think if you buy online, there's going to be some transaction fees, but if you call the ticket office at the Zeiterion, you can save those. And if you call and buy a group, 10 or more tickets, it could even get a great deal.
And the number there is 508-994-2900. And this is going to be a full day of getting new ideas, of partaking in conversation.
Stretching your brain.
Stretching. I like stretching.
It's always good to stretch. You make space.
It's funny, Dolores, Dr. Mike, whenever I learn something new, I say, I just stretched.
Yeah, there you go.
And folks, this is mental exercise for you. Speaking of stretching, this is a wonderful way to do a little physical activity up here and inside here as well.
Yeah, it definitely is hard.
Absolutely. We continue to learn more and more about the mind-body connection, and I see that on a day-to-day basis. How important our mindset it really plays for our well-being, our health, and we seem to in Western medicine, I think sometimes we lose our way and we think that everything is going to be taken care of with a pill and a procedure, and I think that we realize that's not the case.
That's right, absolutely, folks. This is an exciting time to be here in New Bedford, and TEDx. How long has it been here in New Bedford?
So the first TEDxNew Bedford happened in 2012. I was part of that organizing team as a co-organizing. And it was a very small event because we were our first one. So this really is our first big public event.
Okay, and folks, you are invited. The community is invited to have a community conversation. All of us sitting around the breakfast table. But the food for thought is going to be more delectable than anything that we could consume.
But there's going to be great food as well.
Oh, I'm glad.
So the event is an all-day event. It actually starts at 1 p.m.
Okay.
So it's 1 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And we have food trucks and local food vendors coming in to serve dinner.
Dolores Hirschmann, who is the lead organizer of TEDxNew Bedford, joining us, along with Dr. Michael Rocha, who is this area's true New Bedford wellness brainchild, whose goodness and your the radiance from your inner self has helped so many people change their lives. How does that make you feel as a physician, as a person?
Well, I think that, ultimately, I think that to simplify the oath that I think you take as a physician is that your role is to relieve the suffering of others. And what you find is that by trying to do that is that relieves your own suffering. And really, what you're really aiming for is that you want to see people that are in balance, not just physically, but mind, body, and spirit need to be in balance. And that's when people really are living their lives.
I'm sure that you're excited to be a part of the TEDx event at the Z again on, this is happening November the 6th, but get your tickets now, folks. And you're going to have a host of other speakers, plus a surprise or two. So this should be a fun and very informative event. How long do you think it will be? All day long? And
So it's from 1 p.m. to 8.
yeah.
Some people are coming for the whole day, some people are coming after work, but it's divided into 4 sessions. And we are just releasing the agenda today.
Oh, how nice.
So you can check out the Z's site probably tomorrow and you'll have the agenda up there.
We will definitely follow up and do a blog on it. But obviously, wellness and health is one of the areas. What about other ideas?
So there's one session called Rethinking Health, and that's where Dr. Michael Rocha will be speaking. And then we have a session on community and education, and we're going to hear from Zoe, who's been doing such great work on New Bedford Gardens.
Oh,
So Zoe DeBello Hansen is a good friend of mine, and she is just fantastic with tons of energy. Grow Education, I think, is an incredibly important program in New Bedford that is bringing gardens to the elementary schools. And I actually believe that they're going to be working on the high school in the next year. And they're really showing that, our relationship to food starts as kids. And we know that we're struggling with certain things that I'm seeing as adults where people are struggling with their weight and well-being
sure.
and health, and that by going back and fixing the root cause problem, going back to the kids and showing them where their food comes from is critically important. And she's dynamite. She has tons of energy, and she's really doing fantastic work, and just really, as they're saying, growing that program.
Sure. Folks, what better way to bring together local, self-organized programs to share with others in our community. By sharing, we grow, we learn in a TEDx-like experience, right?
Yes, and one of the things that you may not know about this kind of framework is that no speaker can speak for more than 18 minutes.
18 minutes.
So it's really compact, really clear ideas that are being shared from the stage. As I'm coaching the speakers to get ready, basically I'm working with them on getting to a very clear idea and their point of passion. When you combine those, all you have is you're not only sharing verbally, but you're sharing with your whole mind and spirit something that is profound to that human being, and it touches other people.
And how lucky to be in that position to be able to impart information and ideas that are worthwhile and filled with one's passion. That's how communication is truly connecting one another at TEDx. Again, November the 6th, the Zeiterion. Call 508-994-2900, ladies and gentlemen. An early bird special between now and the end of the month. Let me give you a time for a last thought or word about TEDx. Dolores Hirschmann.
Thank you, Phil. And our intention as an organizing team is to bring people together to talk to people you've never met before. Different generations, different background. We're having high school students. We've run a scholarship program for our local high school students, all the way to older people in the community, and just see the world through other people's eyes, just for a day.
Fabulous. I'm on board. Thank you
I'll see
so
you
much.
there.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Dolores.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Michael Rocha, before I let you go and embrace you both in a big radio hug, in today's Standard Times is a wonderful article about George Mumford, who you were responsible for getting on this radio program. He also parallels exactly what Dolores was just talking about.
Yeah, George is completely unbound. And, George, since he wrote his book within the last year, there's been renewed interest in mindfulness and sports psychology. And, George's book really is a gift to all of us. And he's been able to share the techniques that he's used over the last 30 years with elite athletes such as Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. And now he's working, he's been working with the New York Knicks this week. And, George actually was able to talk about the way he used mindfulness and the way that he was able to train his mind to overcome some of his challenges, which you talked about with him the other day. And, when we really think about it, being present, where we are is the most important thing that we can do. And I think that what George's message really is how do you get there? Mm-hmm. We all think that we're there. We all think that, we're always where we are. And when we start checking in on ourselves, we realize our mind has wandered. We're someplace else. We're stuck in the past, or we're thinking about the future. And what we really realize is being in either one of those places usually ends us up in either anxiety or depression. And, what we really need to do is to be able to be in the moment. And when he works with athletes, again, when you're in the fourth quarter of the NBA championship game, where you need to be. You need to be on the court,
in
both mentally.
The moment.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And all of this will be imparted also with another initiative that we talked about the other day at the Boys and Girls Club, and that also is coming up on
November 18th, and George is part of that. So, we've been very fortunate to be able to extend to our community a free adult wellness program starting this Sunday, which is going to deal with diet, exercise, stress, smoking cessation. When we look at it, those are the major drivers for chronic diseases.
Sure, absolutely.
And, in a way, it's kind of funny, as we've joked before, I'm trying to put myself out of business, that people don't need a cardiologist.
That's all right. You can always become a radio co-host. What do you think of that, Dolores, huh?
I love that.
Rocha and Phil in the morning.
That
That can work. We have to include you, of course, with Casey here. It'll be a great quad. Folks, thank you very much for listening, for keeping in mind, no pun intended, this great TEDx connector here in New Bedford on the 6th of November. Call the Z for your tickets, 508-994-2900. Blessings, continued strength, and all of the enlightenment that you imparted here may continue to grow. Thank you both. We'll be right back, folks.